Alright, hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about fractions and decimals and how to convert between the two. I want to start here. This slide has everything that we're going to talk about today and is a good opportunity to have as kind of like a note sheet that just kind of summarizes everything that we're going to go over. So one thing that I want to touch on real quick is a couple key ideas. So the first one is that decimals express the same thing that fractions do, it's just a different way of expressing it. The other is that fractions are converted to decimals by dividing the numerator by the denominator. So basically when I say that decimals express the same thing, it's just in a different way. What I mean is that in a fraction, you have a given number on the top, that's how many parts you have, and on the bottom, you have the total number of parts that make up the whole. So you have 1/4, that's one part out of 4 total parts. If you have 0.25, that's the same thing. It's just that instead of expressing it out of 1 out of 4, we're saying we have 25 out of 100, and it's written like this. So this is going to be the tenths place here. So if you have 0.1, that would be 1/10. So the fractional equivalent would be 1 out of 10. And if you have 0.25 here, it's like you've got 25 out of 100, and it just keeps going. If you had a third one, it'd be out of 1,000, etc. So it's just kind of really a different way of writing fractions in terms of tens. And the way that we get from fractions to decimals is by dividing that top number by the bottom number. So in this instance, we're going to have 1 divided by 4, and you could just do this with a calculator, but I wrote out the long division just in case to kind of like illustrate the concept a little more clearly. So we've got 1 divided by 4, and if you go through the steps, you're going to get 0.25. Alright, so now that we've talked about how to get from fractions to decimals, we're going to talk about how to get from decimals to fractions. Some of these ideas we just touched upon in the past section, but we've got two key ideas here, and the first is that 1 digit means whatever number out of 10, 2 digits means that number out of 100, 3 digits means out of 1,000, etc. The second key idea is that you can use this definition to translate from a decimal to a fraction and then reduce the fraction. So if we look at an example here, 0.25, this means 25 out of 100. So then we can just reduce that to 1/4. And you can see the steps for that over here. So both 25 and 100 can be divided by 25. So we divide each of them by 25 and we get 1/4. A good way to illustrate this concept is kind of, once again, counting with quarters, because that's kind of a pretty easy way to illustrate 25 goes into hundredths, and kind of thinking about that 10 system of counting. Alright, that's pretty much it. So feel free to email me questions at homeschoolforquestions@gmail.com and to subscribe at Homeschool for Parents.